Hey everybody, Aaron here. I am so excited to share with you, at last, one of my biggest projects to date, 2 life-size pieces of computing technology. We have the MSI Aegis Ti5 gaming computer, and we have an MSI optics monitor. Both of these models are built in life size and combined have a part count of over 10,700 pieces. I can't wait to show you all of the details and tell you a little bit more about the design process for each of the 2 models. So without further ado, let's jump right in. First model I want to talk about is the optics monitor. Even though, as you can see, it's basically one big flat black surface, there were a lot of dimensions to it that I wanted to get right. For example, this checkmark cutout shape. Not only does the shape keep this triangular alignment, but it also goes from shallower in the corners to deeper in the middle, which was a real tough thing to figure out, but I'm really proud of how it came out. Because I was working with almost 100% black pieces for the external cladding of this model, it was really important to me to differentiate the textures. Here in the check mark, I've made a point of using only smooth tiled surfaces, whereas for the back of the computer, which has a bit more of a matte texture, I've used mostly studded surfaces. To make that differentiation as sharp as it can be, that was an important thing to get right. I did a little plate-built mosaic version of the MSI logo. It's a really nice splash of color that gives some presence to the back of the screen. Supporting the weight of the screen was really challenging. I've included a trans-clear support rod right here just to make sure that this computer doesn't collapse under its own weight when it's standing up. The front of the screen is made up of more than 800 inverted 2x2 tiles. I love that I've got this really clean surface, although it did take quite a long time to get all those parts attached. This thing is huge and it makes for a really good companion with the Aegis model, which we'll look at right now. So let's get to that one. So of the 2 models, the harder, more complicated, more time-consuming was definitely the Aegis. Not only is it more parts, the shapes, the volume, and of course the lighting all made the Aegis a rewarding challenge to design. I think I did a pretty good job of recreating the structure using a combination of techniques like Technic, clip and bar, ball and socket, and hinges to be able to recreate all those curves and those intersecting shapes here in LEGO. Like I mentioned, and as you can probably see, the Aegis also features a bespoke LED lighting system. This was my first time integrating lights into a model this way, and it was something I learned as I went along. Of course, we have this curvature along the bottom. There's this awesome check here along the side, and best of all, the amazing lines and logo of the front panel, even with a little bit of a back glow behind the central control knob. One of the important things to me in designing this was that even from a distance, you can tell that it's made out of Lego. I didn't want it to look too perfect, but even so, I wanted to differentiate a few textures. We've got the nice and smooth surfaces of the side cladding juxtaposed with the rough anti-studs of this siding here, which is mirrored as well for an open vent in the back of the Aegis. One of the other fun things to design about this computer was all of the ports, stations, apertures, and connecting points that a real computer has. I enjoyed getting to problem solve at a much smaller scale, even when most of the model is built in a really large scale. As I mentioned, a lot of curves in this model. I'm really proud especially of how this diagonal not just goes around the shape of the Aegis, but also goes from more level to more diagonal as it moves down along the face. And of course, the front panel has a really lovely curvature to it. Now the front panel, may I mention, is also deliberately removable to allow access to the LEDs and color controls inside. Just in case you want to change the colors on the model, it's easy to do, and I can adjust the color pretty dramatically if I want to. Thank you so much for watching. I really loved getting to share these 2 models with you, and I'll see you again soon.